What's good, pure pickers? Today we're going to be doing a quick picks and predictions video for UFC 329 McGregor versus Holloway 2. Now, before we get into that, let's talk about the results of the last card, UFC Fight Night, Fiziev versus Torres in Baku. We are in profit for the last card in the green. We're up 2.53 units, 47% ROI on that card. I was wrong on the Beksat Al-Makan underdog play. I thought the judges would lean towards the damage of the fight with Gene Matsumoto getting knocked down in the first round and even getting cut in the second round. And Gene Matsumoto kind of slowed down towards the end of that third round. I thought they would have gave Beksat at least 2 of those rounds, but Matsumoto got another close decision win there. We also had the Rafael Fiziev versus Manuel Torres hitting the plus 115 underdog odds to get that under 1.5 round win there. That one gave us 1.15 units. Our 3-leg, I guess it was like a safe, confident parlay. The Magomedov, Donchenko, and Ruziboyev 3-leg, which was plus 132. That one also hit. And then our highly confident 2-leg parlay, Asu Almabayev with that nasty submission on Charles Johnson, and Ruziboyev, who got that easy grappling rear naked choke in the first round. And that one paid out to plus 105. So good overall night there. And we're going to look to continue this for UFC 329. So on this card, we're just going to go over the quick predictions, how the fight I think will shape out in each fight, starting from the first fight, Cody Durden versus Alessandro Costa. Now for this fight, Alessandro is coming up in short notice to fill in for Ode Osborne. And Cody Durden had a full camp. He had that big underdog victory, unanimous decision against Rafael Fierro. So I think people have been sleeping on Cody Durden, and he's trying to put some respect on his name. So this fight, I know Costa has the power. I wouldn't be surprised if he connects and knocks out Cody Durden. But you know what? On short notice, Cody Durden looking to prove that he still belongs. And he has a full camp. So his odds right now, Durden is a plus 210. Honestly, what I would go here is I'll roll with Cody Durden to win by decision. I think he can really grind out a win for at least 2 of those rounds and get a decision win over Alessandro Costa, who may even drop him in the first round. So yeah, I'm going to say Cody Durden grinds it out to a decision win there. Now, as for the second fight, Ryan Gandra versus Zach Reese, I'm not really confident in this one either. I think Zach Reese can easily finish Gandra. I think Gandra can easily finish Zach Reese. But yeah, I'm just going to side with the momentum and say Ryan Gandra gets a KO finish on Zach Reese, who we've seen him get KO'd before. So that's going to be that's not a confident pick there. Ryan Gandra by KO in that one. Now, as for Damian Pinas versus Cesar Almeida, this is probably most likely going to be a pure stand-up striking match, with Almeida maybe use some grappling, some clinch work against the cage just to slow down Pinas's big power. And yeah, this guy is called the Baba Yaga, so he's like a boogeyman in the first round, getting a lot of first round finishes there, KO, all KOs. Obviously, I think he's going to be the favorite here. Let's see. Yeah, Pinas is a minus 190 favorite right now. And you know what? I'm actually going to go with the veteran, Cesar Almeida. As long as he can get out of that first round, like Fiziev did against Manuel Torres, I think he can bank in the last second and third round, use his experience and his striking pedigree in kickboxing just to stay safe and score on points. I don't think Almeida will get the knockout like a Fiziev in the second round, but I think he'll be able to show his veteran skill against Damian Pinas, who's 24 and has only been knocking out guys who aren't as skilled as or experienced as Cesar Almeida. So that's going to be another underdog pick. Not too confident there, but Cesar Almeida by decision for me. Now this fight, Tracy Cortez versus Cong Wang. Cong Wang has a bit of a winning streak going to decisions. She's kind of improved her takedown defense, even though she was controlled a bit by Eduardo Mora, but still able to get the victory there with her striking. Tracy Cortez, lately she's been up and down. She's lost to Rose Namajunas, lost to Erin Blanchfield. Is Cong Wang to that level? Not so sure right now. I know that Cong Wang has defeated the current champ in kickboxing or Muay Thai way back in the day in Valentina Shevchenko. But in this fight, usually I would side with Tracy Cortez, lean on the grappling to grind out a unanimous decision win, maybe even find a sub. But I'm just not too sure that if Tracy Cortez is all the way there and will have the mental fortitude, the heart, and the focus to be focused in this fight. And yeah, it's just a little bit of a red flag for me. I'm not so sure if I can fully trust Tracy Cortez. So I'm going to go with the striker here, Cong Wang, to win by decision. Now for this fight, Kamaka III versus Luke Riley. Now Luke Riley has been on a tear. He's been 13-0, undefeated, facing Kamaka, who's been in and out of the UFC, but he hasn't really been finished. I think he's been finished by Jonathan Pierce once before, but after that fight, he hasn't really been finished. He's been going to split decision losses. As his only way that he loses is by split decision. And he has a 2-fight winning streak here. Dakota Hope, that one also split decision. So he's been getting to some close fights. The way I think this fight shapes out is I think Kamaka can try to use some of his wrestling experience, his grappling. I know he has a wrestling background. We don't always see it in the UFC. His last fight, it was mostly a stand-up striking match against Dakota Hope. There was some grappling exchanges and clinch work against Luke Riley, who's the better athlete. He has more athleticism. So he's really quick. He's really crisp with his striking. He can really throw the volume. In this fight, I think Kamaka can have some success early on, I believe. But I think as the fight goes on, I think Luke Riley's volume and cleaner strikes is going to show out. I considered Luke Riley maybe getting a TKO finish on Kamaka, but I think Kamaka is just a really tough guy. It's going to be hard to take him out. And yeah, he doesn't really get finished like that. So maybe this could look like that Aswell fight with some more clinch work and grappling exchanges from Kamaka. But I think I'll side with Luke Riley here, getting a decision win. It could even possibly be a split decision, but I'm going to go with Luke Riley by decision. Now, Cody Garbrandt versus Adrian Yanez. This fight can look entertaining or it can look boring. But yeah, the way I see this fight, I think Cody Garbrandt, he's usually wins round one. His best round is round one. I think Adrian Yanez, over the course of the fight, he's going to have the more complete striking offense throughout the fight. Cody Garbrandt, I'm not so sure now. At 35, been in some wars. He didn't look great in that Long Xiao fight. He only won because the ref took off some points on Long Xiao during the fight. So I'm going to go with Adrian Yanez here, and I'm going to say by decision. I'm not so sure if Yanez can get Cody Garbrandt out of there. So give me Yanez by decision in that one. This one, Gable Steveson versus Ellison. Gable Steveson by knockout. Robert Whittaker versus Nikita Krylov. This one is going to be two veteran fighters, very skilled. One is a former champion, Robert Whittaker. Nikita Krylov's been in there with some of the biggest names in light heavyweight. He did have these 2 losses here, all by knockout. Dominic Reyes, Bogdan Guskov, and then he finished last-minute finish on Modestas Bukauskas. And in that fight, Bukauskas, throughout the fight, it looks like Bukauskas was like kind of fighting scared throughout the fight, like very shying away, but still throwing. So I don't know if he was really the guy to get another finish on Krylov. You could say both these guys are on the downtrend of both of their careers. They're not at their prime. Krylov lately has been looking kind of washed, especially in the chin area. And Robert Whittaker, he's also on a 2-fight losing skid, but against quality fighters. Hamza Chimaev, former champ, Rener de Ritter, contending a championship contender in the rankings. You can't say the same thing from Modestas Bukauskas. So this fight, how I see this shape out, I think Robert Whittaker can get the KO here. He's going to be the quicker guy, but he's moving up. He was a small middleweight also, so I think there's a possibility for a Robert Whittaker finish, but I can also see like a decision fight, Robert Whittaker by decision, or maybe even a split decision if Krylov can really use that grappling. So, man, am I really going to say another decision fight here? I want to say Whittaker by knockout, but I'm going to say Whittaker decision. I think Krylov, this might just be like too big of a fighter, too big of a veteran and experience, and I think Krylov maybe learns a bit from his 2 knockout losses and has possibly improved his game plan for the Modestas Bukauskas fight. And there's a lot of tape on Whittaker, so I'm guessing that he's going to be preparing for that. So give me Robert Whittaker decision, maybe even a split decision win there. Now, King Green versus Terrance McKinney. This is going to end in round 1. That's all I know. But yeah, this fight, the way I see this fight, I think Terrance McKinney, he's going to be obviously the most explosive and violent fighter in any of King Green's fights. Maybe the only one that comes to mind is that Jalen Turner fight. And for this, the types of fights that Terrance McKinney loses to, Chris Duncan, Esteban Ribavash, head kick, and a submission. That's also in the cards. King Green maybe could find a submission, early submission through all the chaos and exchanges. I mean, he found a rear naked choke submission in the first round on Jeremy Stephens, but none of King Green's wins as of late and in the past maybe 3 or 5 years has been against like a explosive, violent fighter, and especially in the first round who will rush you. Along with King Green has that hands low style, so he wants you to throw to him with his hands low. So for this, I think that's kind of dangerous against Terrance McKinney. So this is going to be like a moderate. I'm considering to be a high confidence, but I'm going to say it's a moderate confidence Terrance McKinney round 1 KO. And that's what I'm going with. We've seen King Green get knocked out in the past. I think this could shape out to looking similar to that Jalen Turner fight. That King Green-Jalen Turner fight, I think it might end up looking like that. So give me Terrance McKinney by KO, round 1. Now this one, Brandon Royval versus Loner Kavanagh. The recent fights, Loner Kavanagh straight outclassed Brandon Moreno for 5 rounds. Brandon Royval coming off of 2 grueling losses, knocked down in the final round against Joshua Van, and then knocked out in that round 2 against Manel Kape. He was trying to use that striking from distance, but eventually Manel Kape was quick enough to find him and knock him out. He has had some trouble with his head injuries and being knocked out there, so that's a little concerning. And as for Loner Kavanagh, I think he's like a legit competitor, legit potential title contender eventually. And I'm going to side with Loner Kavanagh. It could look close in the first round, but I think Loner Kavanagh's crisp striking, power, and quickness is enough to do something similar to what Manel Kape was able to do. So maybe find a TKO in round 2 or round 3. I'm going to say Loner Kavanagh TKO. Now Corey Sandhagen versus Mario Bautista. This fight, 2 of some of the most technical fighters in the division. Corey Sandhagen, complete striking and grappling arsenal. Mario Bautista, same thing, complete striking and grappling arsenal. The only thing missing from Mario Bautista is his knockout power to really make himself stand out in the division. but he's very technical, complete striking and grappling fighter who knows how to win rounds too. And he has the cardio as well. Corey Sandhagen, he used to be a spectacular striking style. He improved in the grappling, is able to control fighters as well. But in this fight, all right, you know what? I know Corey Sandhagen is the favorite, right? -145 versus +125 rematch against Mario Bautista. I think Sandhagen's really been fighting like a more conservative style. He's been fighting less dangerous and more so trying to dominate rounds and just to win the round type of fight. And in this rematch, I think Mario Bautista is going to have all the motivation to get a revenge win. And he's been looking better and better from fight to fight. And I even think he looked better against Umar Nurmagomedov than Corey Sandhagen did against Umar Nurmagomedov. So I'm going to go with Mario Bautista by decision. And yeah, this fight can even be split decision as well. I think it could be close, but I'm going to go Mario Bautista by decision. Now this fight, I think this fight is like a flip of a coin, honestly. Fight favorite Benoit Saint Denis. Paddy Pimblett is coming as the underdog. Paddy the Baddy, he went all 5 rounds against Justin Gaethje. Ilia Topuria couldn't do that. So he's very durable. And as far as Benoit Saint Denis, he seems to have improved since the Renato Moicano loss. And I think Paddy Pimblett can show some of the threat that Renato Moicano showed in terms of the grappling. Maybe not so much the wrestling in the grappling, but through scrambles, Paddy Pimblett knows how to find a dominant position through scrambling and getting taken down and being an offensive threat on his back too. So even looking for submissions. And if you look at the wins that Benoit has faced, he hasn't really faced anyone with any grappling pedigree besides Beneil Dariush, but Beneil didn't even use his grappling. He went in there throwing the kitchen sink with his chin up high, so you can't really say too much about that fight there. The Dan Hooker just liked to fight off of his back for some reason and try submission. So yeah, that one, he finally got the KO TKO on Dan Hooker from being on top. In this one, I guess it's who do you think will have the upper hand and is more likely to be on top in the grappling. But even if Benoit gets on top in the grappling, Paddy Pimblett can find a sub via triangle choke, via armbar or something like that. So this fight, this could be like a fight of the night. It could go back and forth. It could be a war in the stand-up and in the grappling. And man, God of War or the baddie. All right, I think I'm like at a dog or pass at this point. This can go any way. And I'm just going to say, I'm going to go Paddy Pimblett by submission. I think through the grappling exchanges that Benoit Saint Denis is going to push, I think Paddy Pimblett will be prepared to find a sub or reverse a position like a Renato Moicano in Benoit Saint Denis' loss. So I'm going to go with that. Not too confident, but I'll go Paddy Pimblett by submission. Now this one, Conor McGregor versus Max Holloway. We haven't seen Conor since 2021 with a broken ankle against Dustin Poirier. So this fight, how I think this shapes out with Max Holloway coming off of a loss, just grappled 50-45 against Charles Oliveira. This is how I think this fight's going to go. Conor McGregor, he's going to be strong for the first 2 rounds, maybe even knock down Max Holloway in the early rounds like how Dustin Poirier did. Now that they're fighting at 170, we may see Conor McGregor get the best of Max in the early rounds, but I think it won't be the same quick Conor who throws those kicks. I think I would lean more towards Conor McGregor if he used his kicking game more. I just can't trust that he will. And I just can't trust his cardio. Even at 170, he's been out for so long. Maybe he should have had like a tune-up fight, so to speak. Maybe like a Michael Chandler before facing Max Holloway, but I think he would have looked better in that one. This one, early on, I was buying into the hype last month. I liked Conor McGregor when he was at a plus 265 underdog. I was really thinking hard about it and siding with Conor. But now as the month passed and we're closer to the fight now, Max Holloway's no longer minus 330, minus 310 favorite. And now I'm leaning to Max Holloway, who I think was more likely going to win anyways. And now that he's closer to minus 200, I'm thinking about taking that over Conor McGregor, because I think in the first 2 rounds, Conor McGregor is going to look good. He's going to make Max really think about how he's going to approach the fight with the striking and the power at 170 that Conor McGregor is going to bring. And there's going to be some flashbacks in his head to that first fight, maybe, when he sees Conor throwing his counter strikes. So he might try to stay away from the violence a bit in the early rounds, but still try to throw in his volume striking. So I think Conor McGregor is going to look good first 2 rounds, maybe even knock down Max Holloway like Dustin did. And then as the 3rd, 4th, and 5th round come, we're going to see Conor McGregor slow down. And his cardio's, I don't know if his cardio is going to hold up at 170, being out of the game for 5 years. And he's been on some drinking binges and whatnot in those past 5 years and has had to recover to get to this level of an athlete again. So 3rd round and 3rd and 4th, we may see some exchanges, but we're going to start to see that it's not going to be as powerful as it was in the first 2 rounds. And the 3rd, 4th, and 5th round could look closer to how he looked in the Nate Diaz fight, a volume striker coming forward at him. I think Max Holloway's better than a Nate Diaz. And I think the Conor that fought Nate Diaz was probably a better Conor than today, even though this is different at 170. So I'm going to side with Max Holloway's volume striking to take over in the 3rd, 4th, and 5th rounds. And he's going to survive the first 2 rounds, even maybe getting hurt in the first 2 rounds, but then maybe coming back, not getting finished like what Ilia Topuria did to Max. So give me Max Holloway by decision, even though there's a chance he can get like a 4th or 5th round TKO stoppage, but I think Conor McGregor will be able to fight through his fatigue and make it to the final bell. So give me Max Holloway in a decision. And that's going to be the quick picks and predictions for UFC 329. So that about wraps it. Let's see. Cody Durden, decision. Ryan Gandra, KO. Cesar Almeida, decision. Cong Wang, decision. Wow, I think I gave too many decisions. I said Luke Riley, decision. That can end up in a KO too, but I'm going to say Luke Riley, decision. Adrian Yanez, I did say decision. All right, whatever. I'm going to say, I'll change it. Adrian Yanez by KO on Cody Garbrandt, getting his chin tested again against Adrian Yanez. Adrian Yanez, KO. Gable Steveson, KO. Robert Whittaker, decision, maybe split decision. Terrance McKinney, round 1 KO. Loner Kavanaugh, round 2 or round 3 KO. Mario Batista, decision. Paddy Pimblett, submission. Max Holloway, decision. And that's the quick picks and predictions for UFC 329. We'll be doing our final picks and predictions video with James coming up soon. So look forward to that. And that's going to do it for UFC 329. My name's Gerard, and I'm out.